In his book 1984, George Orwell wrote, "In times of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act." I put this video together to remind us, to remind you and me, that the media is trying to ram not only lies, but outright perversion down our throats. And it looks to me like it's time to engage in that revolutionary act of telling the truth. You guys enjoy the video. What I'm about to say is very basic, ridiculously obvious, and may give the appearance of condescension. But apparently in this day and age of blurred lines, politically correct terminology, thought police, and media condoned and promoted perversion, it's necessary just to get back to basics. And when I say perversion, I mean the alteration of something from its original state to a distortion or corruption of what was first intended. And in this case, an emotionally, politically correct, and socially acceptable denial of obvious facts. Remember, facts don't cease to exist just because a large group of people got together and decided to ignore them. See, the emperor can parade all he wants down the street, trying to convince himself and others that he's wearing the finest apparel. The emperor's ministers and all the townspeople can pretend all they want that they don't see the emperor's fat belly and naked body jiggling in the sunlight as he prances down the street, for fear that they'll appear unfit or stupid for not going along with the crowd and delighting in the publicly accepted pretense. But truth and those who hold to it know that reality does not now and never did depend on popular opinion or majority rule. In the people's misguided quest for and governmental enforcement of tolerance, what's really being attacked here is reality, truth, observable facts, and basically your very freedom. Reason is demanded and expected to give way to feelings under the threat of force. And as the masses clamor for more tolerance, the only thing that will not be tolerated is intolerance to the popular, publicly accepted, politically correct agenda. So here are the basics, and please try to stay with me. I know this is elementary, but it makes a point. This is a pig. This is a bottle of perfume, some lipstick, makeup, and a castration tool. You can cut this pig's balls off, professionally apply lipstick and makeup, drench him with the finest perfume, and clothe him in premium feminine apparel. But the truth remains, he's still a male pig, no matter how many people try to convince you otherwise. This is a white woman. This is a black woman. And for those who bow to the pressure of being politically correct, a woman of color. This is a white woman who said she was a black woman and became the community leader of the Spokane, Washington chapter of the NAACP. After drawing a ton of fire and criticism from the public and the media, she resigned following allegations that she had lied about her racial identity. So how did the mainstream media deal with this?
This story is strange. It just doesn't seem to make sense. You've provided us a birth certificate of Rachel's. You've given us family photos of Rachel. Why is your daughter then pretending to be black?
We can't answer that question for her. She has not explained to us why she is doing what she's doing and being dishonest and deceptive with her identity.
So to them, this story is strange. This story doesn't seem to make sense. It claims that she's being dishonest and deceptive with her identity. Why is this treated as such a big deal? I guess it turns out a white woman can't say she's black and get away with it. Where's the tolerance, the love, the acceptance? Isn't this a case of discrimination? A wholesale promotion of hate speech right here on MSM? This man's name is Dennis Stalking Cat Avner, who underwent extensive body modifications to, quote, follow the ways of his totem, the female tiger, end quote. He said he felt moved to, quote, blur the species as well as the gender boundaries, end quote. Well, the reality is you can sharpen your teeth, get facial implants, cover yourself with tattoos, even cut off your member. The fact remains, this guy is not a female tiger and never will be. He's just a guy. This is fictitious character Barry Fenner. Now, Fenner's story closely parallels the story of another well-known real-life personality. And the interview that's about to be conducted by Dina Boyer is the exact word-for-word interview, minus a couple words, with the real-life personality. Listen carefully. He was just an average guy until one day he took the international spotlight as a world-renowned donut maker. The press loved him, children idolized him, and chefs around the world longed to achieve the culinary feats he had attained. But all his life, Barry was always confused, not only with his gender identity, but also with his species identity. He felt like he was always telling a lie about who he really was, and he couldn't bear to do that any longer. You see, Fenner always felt that he was really a female camel. On one occasion, prominent journalist Dina Boyer asked him during a nationally broadcast interview, quote, "Are you a camel?" End quote. Fenner's response, "Yes, for all intents and purposes, I am a camel. People look at me differently. They see me as this macho donut-making guy, but my heart and my soul and everything I do in life, it's part of me. That feminine camel side is part of me. That's who I am. I was not genetically born that way. As of now, I have all the male, human-looking parts. In a lot of ways, we're different, but I still identify as a female camel." End quote. Barry Fenner says about himself in the interview, quote, "Barry lives a lie. Being Camille, the female camel, is not a lie." End quote. As a side note, when Barry finally came out as Camille the Camel, he set a Guinness World Record for accumulating the most Twitter followers in the shortest amount of time on a new account, beating the former record holder, a filthy political puppet, with over 1 million followers in just a little over 4 hours. Well, no matter how many millions who saw that interview coddle Barry in his ridiculous belief that he's a female camel, and no matter how accepting and effective the interviewer's network is at promoting this as a reality, the truth stands against this attempt to get the masses to either silently choke down the lie or wholeheartedly embrace and support it. And those who accept it and insist on bending to the agenda of the Hollywood kingpins, calling Barry a female camel, have been duped into rejecting reality. Because in this era of mass perversion, going with the truth and telling it like it is political and professional suicide. Now obviously we're not talking about Barry Fenner and Dina Boyer, but the interview with Bruce Jenner and Diane Sawyer. But the assessment from the perspective of objective truth is the same. Bruce ain't no woman and never will be, no matter how many people call him a she or a her.
So congratulations, Caitlyn. And by the way, this is a 65-year-old. You look beautiful. I mean, she's got collarbone and she goes in at the waist. And she's wearing that bustier. I heard that her stylist took her to trashy lingerie and then she got like a whole bunch of them and decided which one to wear.
No matter how many people say things like,
"Ladies and gentlemen, the courageous, the stunning Caitlyn Jenner."
truth and reason, as always, stand opposed to the emotionally manipulated mass mentality. And it's true, men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing ever happened. The sad part is that truth is ineffective when it falls on the ears of the deaf. And no matter how confused Sawyer acted during the interview trying to determine whether this man who says he's a woman is a lesbian or a homosexual, it's not confusing at all. Jenner is nothing more than a perverted, attention-seeking 65-year-old multi-million-dollar male actor who gets off on wearing lipstick, getting his nails done, and prancing around in women's dresses. Is this hate speech? Do I hate Bruce Jenner? No, it's a reality check. And all these people who attended the ESPY Awards, where Jenner was honored with the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage, beating out truly courageous people like double amputee veteran Noah Galloway and the late college women's basketball player Lauryn Hill, who played with the terminal brain tumor which took her life in April. All these people who condone with their silence and approve with their applause. These are the kinds of people who need to dust off the bottle of truth and take a couple good chugs of reality. You guys are being taken for fools by the elite who are attempting to control your minds through dog and pony shows like this one. This entire audience of Hollyweird puppets, apparently including NFL great Brett Favre, who clapped with approval as Jenner tiptoed his evening gown-clad 6'2" frame to center stage, have bowed the knee to the perverted and powerful forces of Hollywood's elite for fear that they're going to lose their status in a society that glorifies the suffocation of truth and the exaltation of perversion. It makes you wonder if they're so far gone that they would actually be given such a fervent standing ovation to some dude like Barry Fenner as he clogged his way to the stage dressed in a camel costume. Face it, our society exalts the twisted antics of self-absorbed people like Miley Cyrus and Bruce Jenner. Our unfortunate reality is that we live in a time where you can be charged with a hate crime just because you don't accept the current political and media-driven agenda. And the fact has always been and will always be that the truth does not change according to our ability to stomach it.
Guys, thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and share it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to see more videos like this, click that big red subscribe button down there, and as soon as I upload a video, you'll be one of the first to see it. If you want to support this channel, pick up one of these hard-hitting, conversation-starting shirts. You'll find the link in the description below, along with a plethora of other hard-hitting, high-impact designs. Remember, guys, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people will secure their own oppression. Let's stop securing our own oppression, and let's start today. I'll see you guys in the next video.